Well, thank you for inviting me to this important topic on 10 years UN Commission of Inquiry reports, 10 years this year, which is quite exciting, but at the same time, it's quite and a lot also challenging issues haven't much solved. But as a victim of a North Korean escapee, an escape from that country, this paper to me has been a milestone and foundation. And also, if anyone come to ask me, what do you feel about this report? It is our voice. It is our testimonies of what we experienced in North Korea. And I was one of the escapees who testified during this inquiry 10 years ago, and I was a university student. And when you see go through all these hundreds of pages, all these paper and every single word, what it testifies, and it is the voice of what suffering and persecution and crimes against humanity is going on inside North Korea. It is the voice of imprisonment, torture, and people have experienced human trafficking, particularly women and girls, and imprisonment and prison camps. There are so many categories, as you can see, what this report is talking about. And so this report is not merely paper, but the paper is and telling itself, tells the world for those who cannot speak for themselves inside North Korea. And I remember inside North Korean prison when there were hundreds of prisoners detained, and when a man and who died leaning on against my back, and how his body was dragged out of the cell, and also all these hundreds of prisoners who couldn't even make eye contact with one another, and their fears and trauma, and children I saw died on the street during that arduous march. A man who was executed in front of a crowd of many people. And as a boy, I was even standing and sitting at the front of the crowd. And these are the papers of a UN Commission of Inquiry report. And this paper, to me and all North Korean escapees, it has been an trauma, imprisonment, torture, and tells the crimes committed by the North Korean regime. And yet there are over 26 million people who are in this large prison country. So this paper itself tells the world what the crime has been committed, what it must have taken an action from the international community, and so on, all these countries who stand for humanity. At the same time, this paper has been, and the context, the language of education, particularly to me and all those 20 and 30 young generation North Korean escapees who have been growing growing up with this paper and the language of dictionary crimes against humanity in North Korea, we have been able to equip and this foundation, and it has been able to speak to outside and what the crimes has been committed back home in North Korea. And I am happy at the same time, this report now meets 10 years anniversary, and we commemorate alongside the 75th anniversary of Universal Declaration of Human Rights Charters. This paper, what it has been to me, and testifying to the world over the past 10 years. But next 10 years, I'm hoping the paper will continue move forward, and as it speaks itself, the constitution of the crimes committed by the North Korean regime, and when the justice is seeking from North Korean people, the paper must to continue to motivate and encourage me and other North Korean escapees and international actors to take more actions over the next 10 years, which I am personally and hopefully and desperately I'm looking forward to see what is come ahead. But thank you for all those who have been committed and working on this paper, and alongside this has been speaking out and standing up with North Korean activists and 26 million voiceless people who cannot speak for themselves. And with that, as a North Korean SKP and victim of this under dictatorial regime, I am hugely grateful to all those supporters and your prayers for my home country, North Korea.